So I'm just gonna say what comes to mind, and however crazy it sounds, but um, not nothing rehearsed or anything like that. I'm just gonna let the words flow, and I pray that they are not mine, but they are the words that are supposed to be spoken. So let's start with my message to the people, to everyone, to whoever else is gonna see this that is not in our immediate circle right here. Um, if this reaches you somehow, be sure that everything that you hear is taken in carefully and processed carefully and sat on carefully. You can't just take in the things that you like and don't like because you're choosing of your own sin, what is real and what isn't. You have to want to change. So no matter who you are, you can be someone in the street, you can be a thug, you can be a drug lord, you can be a criminal, you can be a billionaire running an empire, you can be a president. I don't care. Whatever you have and whatever you don't have, you have to be willing to let go and stop living for yourself. We were not put here to live for ourselves. We were not put here to live by ourselves. We were put here together to live for each other. That is the purpose. You have all these. I'm not here to spread conspiracy theories. I don't want anything coming out of this or anything like that. But you have these theories now that are being told of us being in a matrix or aliens and all this other stuff, right? And I'm not saying what's true or what's not. But at the end of the day, if you allow yourself to believe that at the core of any falsehood or any truth, at the core of it, is anything other than the purpose we are here is to live for each other, to grow together, to evolve together. It's God is our parent. We are his children. He created us. He gave us this place to live in and to grow and to prosper. That's it. It's that simple. He gave us free will as the greatest gift, and what we do with it is up to us. This world we have created was created through imagination. We imagined it and we achieved it. We have democracy that is not for the people. It is not of the people. It's not by the people. Because the people have chosen to elect leaders to lead over them. Not God to lead over them. Not each other to lift each other up, but leaders to do the work that was too hard for them to do so that they don't be distracted by these horrors and these everyday truths, but they can go and sit on the couch and enjoy TV or live their life or choose that laziness or say someone else will speak up, someone else will do this, someone else will step in my place. Why me? What can I change? What can I do? I'm just one person. That's the wrong way of walking. If you can understand the core truth that we are here for each other, and you can start there and then look inward to what you can do to be better for your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your brother, your sister, your spouse, your significant other. If you can do that just one step at a time, every time you elevate yourself by sheer default, you will be able to exert more positive energy and lift up those around you without even realizing you're doing it. And if you truly love these people and you say you want to lift them up, then you should want to do this for them as well as for yourself. And if you truly love God and you believe in God and you claim to be religious or spiritual or whatever it is, I'm not telling you who your God is. Seek within yourself. Seek the answers for yourself. Seek to your God. Use the books, use the information that's out here, look at it all and decipher for yourself internally. But do not pick the easiest answers because they are easy. Do not pick the easiest road because you want to be lazy and that's what it is. You have to be the time for kneeling is no more. It is time to rise up and stand before yourself. Stand before God. Face yourself and face your God. God no longer wants us to kneel before him. You can do so in honor if you choose to. But the same way a parent, when they speak to their child, wants that eye contact, wants that face to face, it's not kneel before me while I teach you to your kids, is it? No, it's I want to teach you and show you the way. I want, when you cross that street, give me your hand. Right? We're going to walk together. That's what that is. There's no more time for kneeling. There's no more time for false idols. There's no more time for false prophets. There's no more time to say that this flag is more important than the life of my brother, or that flag is more important than the life of my sister. There's no more time for that. It is a time to stand up, rise up, and face yourselves. 2020 to 2040 is a time of revelations in the truest sense. However, keep in mind, that doesn't mean that Revelations is what you see in the movies. That doesn't mean that Revelations is word for word what we've pictured out of the book, or what we've been told it is through interpretation. That's not what I'm saying. The word that I received, in fact, is not one of the end of days, but one of the beginning of humanity growing together. Revelations is a time of truth. It is a time to reveal the truth. And that is what we must do. We must reveal the truth to ourselves. We must see who we are, who we really are underneath. We must see who our God is. We must see each other. We need to reveal that truth. And in order to do that, we have to get out from under the lies. The past couple of decades have been the weapon of choice used against us has been ignorance. The weapon of choice for the next 20 years will be fear. If you allow that fear to consume you, if you have it inside of you right now and you're not working every day already to identify it and understand it and break through it and conquer it and use it instead of allowing it to use you, if you're not doing that, you will experience the tribulations of the next 20 years. But if you're doing that within your life, then I'm certain that you will receive the same message I did, which is that humanity will survive. Humanity will go on. We will make it through what is to come. We will make it through the next 20 years. How we make it through that is the choice that we need to decide individually. How difficult that road is what we need to decide right now. The choices we make today are the choices that will echo for the next century, period, on every level. If you choose to walk out the house disrespecting your loved one, putting them down, not seeing yourself, elevating yourself, putting yourself down, if you choose to do any of that, and you're doing that right now, and you're not right now in this very moment working to change, you are already headed down the wrong path, and you will struggle through what is to come. And I don't want that for anyone that I love or care about, for any of my brothers and sisters. I want you to have that peace that I have. I want you to be able to understand and see and walk through the fire without feeling the burn. Walk through the fire without feeling the burn. It is entirely possible. But you have to make those choices now, because what is to come from 2020 to 2040 has already started. It's already in place. It's not going to change. No matter what I say, no matter what goes out there, no matter how much good we do, it is inevitable. However, we have control over our choices. We have control of that journey to that point. And however we choose to do that is going to greatly affect how we come out on the other side. And how we come out on the other side of this next 20 years is going to be critical to the future of us. Not of this tribe, not of that tribe, not of black lives or blue lives or white lives or all lives, but of all of humanity as a whole. That's how big this is. Again, I've been told the world is not going to end from 2020 to 2040. It will not end. I'm staking the lives of everyone on that. It will not end. But it will feel like the end at more than one point. It will feel like Revelations at more than one point. The fear will be there. The fire will be there. You won't know what I do unless you can see within inside yourself, unless you can face yourself, unless you can face your God in your shame, in all of your shame. And you can accept what we all are and choose to see it and understand it and grow closer to yourself and grow closer to your God. Then you will be able to lift your brother up and lift your loved one up, your sister and your mother. Then you will be able to lift each other up through the fire through the tribulation. And though it will be going on all around us and in front of us, it will not burn. That's what's to come of the next 20 years, but it starts now. We have this new generation, this young generation of kids that are active and speaking and moving and not lazy and saying now is the time for change. And I'm so proud of them, because I was lazy. That was not my generation, you know. But these guys, they are making this revolution. They're saying you got 9-year-olds and 17-year-olds and 25-year-olds saying enough is enough, saying this is not the way, saying I know I'm just one person, but I can make that change. And you got enough of you got one person inspiring the next, inspiring the next. We literally have in this lifetime, for the first time I've seen in my generation or my parents, we have in this lifetime a revolution on a level that has never seen before, and it is global. It is not America. It is global. All across the world, people are in protest. All across the world, people are saying we're tired of this. All across the world, they're saying we need change. But if you move too fast, you will lose sight of very important details. So it's this generation that is moving so rapidly. I say slow down just a little bit. You're making the right choices with the right intention. But again, the ends does not justify the means. If you go too quickly, you will trip. If you go too quickly, you will miss very important details. You have to slow down, because while the youngest generation is the generation that is more active than many of us, the older generations do have a wisdom in the experience that they've been through. The problem with us is that my generation, is that until right now, I haven't been willing to speak up. I haven't been willing to walk in my shame and share that, so that this next generation can say, whoa, okay, hold on, maybe I should slow down. There is this stuff going on, because I guarantee you, these kids, you think that our sins stop with us. They don't. We pass them on. So these kids that have the righteous means and the great intention and all that stuff, they still have our sins inside of them. They still have the anger we've shown them. They still have the lust we've shown them. They still have the ignorance and the stubbornness and everything that we've shown. They still have all of that, the envy and the jealousy. They have that. And so although they may be trying to move with God, just like David, they will make mistakes. Just like David, they may slay their brothers. Just like David, they may fall. But David continued to look for God. He continued to try to walk that right way. He said, I fell, Father, pick me up and help me. I fell again, Father, I'm sorry, let me keep going. I fell again, Father, I'm trying my best, please don't give up on me. That's what he did. It's not that he was godly in the sense that he's a Jesus or a Messiah or anything like that. Jesus was a man as well. It's not that he was God incarnate. It's not that he was anointed in a way that the rest of us was not. It's that the choices he made was to constantly look within himself and say, that was wrong. I can do better tomorrow. That was wrong. I can do better tomorrow. God show me. God guide me. Through the story of David, Samuel was the prophet that was guiding David most of the way and speaking on behalf of God. But towards the end of David's journey, you start seeing where David is speaking directly to God himself and God to David. Right? There's a need for pastors and priests and everything else. They are very important. And I have a message for T.D. Jakes, I think his name is, a reverend. So I have to speak on that. But there is absolutely a purpose. There's a purpose for these people. It's not don't listen to them. It's not that they are not the way to God. The way to God is through following the footsteps of Jesus, through self-sacrifice. It's through giving for your brother and your sister. It's through walking in your shame to find. That's the way to God. It's through choice. You have to choose that path to God. But when we stumble and when we struggle and when we fall, sometimes we need to reach out to our brother. We need to reach out to our sister. We need to reach out to that person that has just a little bit more energy than we do to lift us up. And we've got to take down that pride to do it. We've got to take down that ego to do it. And that's where these pastors and these priests and everybody else comes in. Everybody has a role to play. It's not that everything is anti-God or everything is for God. There is truth and there is lies all mixed in there, because there is God's word and then there's man's corruption. right? You have to go on your own journey to find that truth. If I lead you on it, I become this prophet, or I become this cult leader, or I become this whatever. And again, it's very easy to assassinate me. The message will be lost. I can't tell you that I'm everything I'm saying is this is it. I'm telling you that this is a message that I have to speak, and I want you to challenge it and take it in and speak your truth when that time comes. That's what needs to happen for this next generation. Now, moving on to Reverend T.D. Jakes. I think it's a Reverend. Obviously, I don't follow this guy very much. I don't know a lot about him. I do remember vaguely that sometime in my childhood, when I was growing up, I remember hearing his name, and it was during a time when there was a lot of pastors and reverends and stuff getting called out for abusing the church and taking funds and living in mansions and buying cars, right? Stuff like that. So I do remember, and I owe this man an apology, because I remember thinking to myself, because he was becoming big and it was a name that you just kept hearing, but I never researched him. I didn't listen to him. I was just like, it's just another one of those guys. And I dismissed it, right? Because he had such a huge fan base. It's like, it's another one of those guys. False prophets, lying, all this other stuff. So as I go through this journey that I just spoke about, where I was in two worlds, I'm doing all this stuff, I take this time to sit on it and try to figure it out. And from an outside source, all of a sudden, in the background, there is this sermon playing from this guy, T.D. Jakes. And this happened the first day, and then it happened the second. It went on 3 times. 3 times it hit. Every single sermon that this man spoke was, man, let me tell you, he is anointed. If this message somehow makes its way to his ears, my message for him is that he is truly anointed. God sees him. God loves him. He's walking with God. He's doing the right thing. He has fallen. He has made missteps. He has made mistakes. He has fallen. He's made mistakes because he is still a man. He is still flesh. He's still subject to his own internal corruption. But he also understands this. He knows this, and I've never met this guy. I've only heard 3 of his sermons, so he would know if these words are not true. But this is what's coming to me. This man is blessed. He is anointed. His word has reached me and has been my confirmation of things. And I believe that something in what I'm saying will be a confirmation for him of something that maybe he's going through or struggling or asking or something. Maybe a misstep he had. I don't know. But this word is for him, that he may continue his work, that he may continue to grow, that he may continue to seek the truth within himself and through God, because his work is important to the entirety of us. It matters. To my family, I think I've said enough throughout this, but I'll summarize. I love you. I will lift you up. I will sacrifice my last breath for each one of you. And not just you, but for the random brother in the street and random sister in the street. As long as you are willing to see yourself, as long as you're willing to walk. And again, walking in your own sin and walking in your own shame is not necessarily that you got to go on video and you got to lay it out there. It's that you have to face it yourself. You have to really say, it's not just, I know I did that and I feel bad about it. It's play that entire thing out in your head. What did you really do? What was that shame? What was that sin? How? What are the ripple effects that really might have had beyond what you can see to all the others that you claim to love, or maybe didn't, or whatever? You have to take that journey. I will disappear. When I come back, I'm hoping that whoever this has reached has begun that journey. It's a long journey. I don't expect anyone to be, oh, I'm great and I'm all this stuff. What I hope for is that when I come back and I asked, when was the last time you apologized? You tell me this morning, last night. When was the last time? What have you found out about yourself? Well, I found out that my biggest sins that I struggle with is anger, pride, and lust. Those are my top 3. But I've also found out that I have a little bit of ego. I've also found out I have a little bit of jealousy. I've also found out when I come back and we go to have these conversations, as long as you can tell me that you're trying, that you want to be better, that you want, not for me, but for you, that you want to do those things, I promise you, you will be a part of my life for the rest of my life. As long as we keep taking that journey together, we will walk together. I will not abandon you. I will not leave you. And as high up as I climb is as high up as I'll take you with me. Guaranteed. But if I come back, I've said everything I need to say here. If I come back and I ask you something, and your first go-to is to bury yourself down in your fear or bury yourself down in your lies, knowing full well that I believe what I'm saying, it's like a slap in my face. That's you looking at me and saying, yeah, I heard you. So, and in that case, I will be a part of your life because I love you enough to take that and endure it. But I will not allow you to be a part of mine because I cannot contaminate my energy that way. Not for what is to come, for what I have to do with it. Does that make sense? Is that too? Okay, so anyway, so we can talk about that more offline. That's my message to my family. There's this, I know that I have to, I'm being told I need to make, this needs to go bigger. So we're going to go bigger. Who is it? Dave Chappelle. There's a comedian by the name of Dave Chappelle. This man is the Da Vinci of comedy of our time. He's ahead of his time in that he has an internal understanding that in the darkest of our hours, there is still light to pull at. And he understands how to pull at that light and make it shine through laughter, which is a positive healing energy. He has an understanding of how to pull at that light in the darkest of hours and bring us to a point where we can collectively share that light together in laughter and joy and survive the darkness and overcome it and becoming stronger through it. He has this gift that was given to him. I don't know if he knows it's a gift, but it is absolutely a gift. And I'm getting something that tells me that he had been struggling with it recently quite a lot. He's been struggling with it because he's reached a point of almost giving up on us, giving up on humanity, giving up on, like, what's the point? And I don't know how recent that is. I don't know how, this is what I'm being told. So if it reaches his ears, then he'll know the truth, if it's true or not. My message to him is, don't give up on us. Keep going. The work that you're doing is important to the many. There's a young girl, an artist, a young lady, I should say, by the name of, who was this? Billie Eilish. There's a young lady by the name of Billie Eilish. She's an artist. She has exactly what I have. She is sensitive to this information, to this energy. She's sensitive in the way that I am sensitive. I don't know her. I've heard her music. I've seen her before, like, perform on TV. I can't mention her albums. I maybe can mention like one song, right? Like, she's great, nothing against her. I'm just not like, I'm too old to be a super fan. You know what I mean? I'm too old to be a super fan or anything like that. But somehow I'm getting that she is exactly like me. She is exactly like me. And maybe she doesn't know that, or she's had experiences in her life, like I've had experiences in my life, that she is yet to completely make sense of or to accept, or maybe she ran away from it the way I've ran away from it, or she's afraid of it, or she spoke on it but been ridiculed. I don't know her exact path or story, but I know that there's something there that is similar to that of mine, and that she is an energy like mine. She is sensitive to it, and her role is also important. Her journey is long, and she has not yet. She is, however big she is, or however good she's doing or not doing, I don't know, but she has so much more road to travel. And she's been struggling on that road on internalizing all of this stuff and figuring it out and understanding it. So hopefully this reaches her somehow and gives her some sense of guidance and some sense of sanity, that she's not crazy and that she needs to move forward in this, and her voice absolutely needs to be heard by the world as she walks forward in her journey. Even through the slips that she will come to, even through the falls that she will come to, she just needs to keep choosing that right path. She just needs to believe in herself even when the others don't. She needs to understand and love herself and lift herself up enough, as I had to, hopefully the easy way for her and not the hard way as it was for me, to learn that this is real and that she has to acknowledge it and she has to use it in a way that she's been afraid to use it. Who else? Give me a sec. There were people at the airport that this journey I went through, lost the money, all this other stuff. I ended up having to walk. I chose to walk. It was a debate, right? Spoke about it. I ended up choosing to walk, but I also was supposed to walk because I had no cash. And I was finally in a position to walk, which was better for my health anyway. I walked so hard and so much that I literally had chafing to where my skin was gone. It was just all red on my leg. That's how hard I walked on this journey. That's how many obstacles were put in my way, and I pushed through them, and I pushed through them, and I pushed through them to get here. But these people that blessed me, one of them is a security guard by the name of Neil. He's at the Chicago airport. I don't know where. I know they rotate them around, but he was at Station 1 at the time. If this gets out to anybody sees Neil at the airport, he's like a 6 foot tall black dude, older gentleman, spirit of God for sure. And this man blessed me when no one else would. Through my obstacles, he helped me continue in a way that he probably still doesn't understand. And I prayed, and I pray every day now since and then, and I'm putting this out there into the universe, that this man receive 10 times the kindness that he showed me. 10 times. So if you see Neil, shout him out. There were also these two ladies, lovely ladies, I won't name because of they made a sacrifice for me. They took a risk for me. These two ladies I won't name because they made a sacrifice for me. They took a risk for me. So as much as I'd love to, I won't name them, but they know who they are, and God bless them. I pray that they receive tenfold the kindness that they showed me. Because when I couldn't eat and I was at risk of my sickness taking over, they supplied me with a grocery bag full of food that lasted me throughout the day and into lunch the following day when I had nothing else. So I bless them. I pray that blessing upon them. Who else? Let's see. I'll make sure I don't miss anyone here. Actress by the name of Scarlett Johansson. She'd been going through some stuff internally, privately. The answer to her question is she's exactly with who she is supposed to be with, when she is supposed to be with them. The obstacle that she will face is herself. And this person that she's with, the person she's questioned, the person she has once questioned, the answer that she came to is the right answer. That is the person. That is the person to lift you up. That is the person to guide you. That is the person to sacrifice for you. That is the person to love you. But your biggest obstacle will be yourself. So don't get in your own way. I think I have the final messages. All right. Final messages. To Barack Obama. The world thinks that the presidency aged him. But I know that the presidency didn't. It's not the presidency that aged him, not in the way that we perceive it. What really aged him was his struggle with his faith through the presidency, through the obstacles he was presented with, through the knowledge he was given, through the things that were shown to him. He struggled with his faith, and that is what aged him the most, was his struggle with his faith. So much so that he prayed for confirmation of his faith. He prayed for confirmation of his faith, and he went out to seek confirmation of his faith. He believed to have received confirmation of his faith, and that allowed him to keep going. He had the support of a brother who loved him and carried the faith, so that when he was faltering in the way he was walking, his brother lifted him up, and that was Joe Biden. That is why they are so closely attached. That is why when they began as opposites, they ended as brothers. That is why that turned out that way. I have no insight on this. This is what I'm being told. That was your struggle. It was with your faith. But the confirmation you believe to have received was not your confirmation. This is your confirmation. This is your confirmation of your faith. This is your confirmation of the path you walked. This is your confirmation that although you made mistakes and you stumbled, you chose the right path time and time again, and you have to continue to choose that path. Do not allow the lies that are built on truth to deceive you. Do not allow them to pull you away from what you already know to be true. This is your confirmation. Give me a sec here. I think this is the last one. Donald Trump. I know that although many would want you to be seen as crazy, you are not crazy. Although many want you to be seen as dumb, you are not as dumb as they want you to be seen. You are intelligent. You have spoken many truths and things that were accurate. Things that are not supposed to be illuminated to the public, not by God's choice, but by the choice of the corruption of men. I know that the media spins things. I know the war that you believe you prevented. I know who it was with. I know how it was prevented. I know the details that are not yet ready to come to light. I understand why it is not time to speak on those situations. I know why you claim to know more than the generals, because I also know that information. And I also know why it is not yet time to speak on it. But we are in a time of revelations, and the truth must be revealed. It is time for the people with power, with real power, and those with real power understand that information, knowledge is true power. And those with it believe that the ends justify the means. They believe that they are walking rightly to minimize the damage, to minimize the harm of what is to come, but they are acting in fear. They are acting in the corruption of their own hands, and therefore The ends does not justify the means. It is a time to reveal the truth and to end your own internal corruption to those with power. But to Donald Trump yourself, unfortunately, you are my brother, but you are godless. You have no God in you. You don't see him. You don't look for him. You don't know him. You don't speak to him. And it's because of that in every one of your successes, you will always taste defeat. Now, I wish nothing but the best for everyone, to include Donald Trump. I know what you're afraid of. But unless you choose a different path, unless you choose to be better, unless you choose to walk righteously, unless you choose to walk in your shame and not just point out the shame of others, you will not succeed. And all those who follow you will not succeed. But that is not to say that those that you consider your enemies are walking righteously either. It will take all of us to stand up and choose the change that we can imagine. And if we can imagine that change and we can choose that change, then we can achieve that change. Last in, to those in real power, I have more to say. I have a lot more to say. This is my invitation, although I will not make any more public appearances. This is my invitation for you to come find me. I will not be that hard to find. Come find me. I have more to say to you in private. A lot more to say to you in private. If you know my words to be true, and I know that there are those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, who understand exactly what I am, come find me, because the message I have is important. But it's important to be delivered in private. Not to hide the truth, but to properly reveal the truth. So I invite you to come find me. And with that, I'm going to end this session.